Hello viewers, Ford Focus 2012 model year or Ford Focus third generation. In this video I'm going to show you how to change the battery, and as you see the battery is under the hood, that's for sure. But where's the battery? In our car the battery is under here. It's under the plastic cover over here. As if you can actually see the message, pretty obvious. Remove the cover to service battery, and always reinstall it after you are done. So how to take off this cover? There are two arrows here. Here, both arrows. Follow the arrows. Put your fingers underneath and pull it out in this motion from both sides and unsnap it, and then there's a tab in the middle of it. That one doesn't give you any trouble, so basically just slide out the cover and safely put your battery cover away, don't scratch it. And here you go, the battery. And this is the positive terminal, and where's the negative? Well, the negative is actually hiding behind there, which we will get to it in a minute. And for some extra information, if you ever want to jumpstart other people's car or charge a battery when it's dead or something, again you take off the cover to expose the positive terminal, but where to tap the negative, which is here. Ford is generous enough to actually relocate the negative terminal into outside. Actually, I think they have no choice because the negative actually is hiding under the cowl area. So they have to relocate the negative terminal into this space. But you can actually use your car frame, the chassis, as a negative terminal also. But they are generous enough to provide a dedicated negative terminal for you to either jumpstart people's car or charge the battery once you remove the cover. So let's get to how to remove the battery. And basically is not quite straightforward, and when you look at it, we see the lock bar is over here, so there are two screws. So this is the first thing we need to remove, that's for sure, because this is a battery strap bar. But how to get the things out? And indeed, there's a second part of the battery covers which we will need to remove first in order to expose the battery's negative terminal. So you can unscrew it. Let me see the camera. And take out the battery strap, take out both terminals, and slide the battery in upward motion like this. But the first thing you need to do is you need to remove the second part of the battery covers also, which is actually hiding behind in a very tight space. But in order to unsnap it, you can actually press on the side in this area and look for the tabs from this cover, and use your thumbs or whatever motion to unsnap it like this. I hope I can show you better. Okay, kind of press on this tab a little bit, so give it some space, because the cover has a tab. It's actually holding on the edge of this battery tray, so you give it some nice tug or press this way, just a little bit is good enough, and then use your thumb or whatever way you can find to take the cover in the upward motion. like this. Actually, I haven't completely unsnapped the second part yet. Yes. So there are two tabs. So once you unnap both tabs, then now you can safely remove the second cover. And as you see, this is what I'm talking about. There's a one tab, and there's this another tab. So you untap this guy first, and then untap the second one here. Once the first side is loose, then you can just move this part away. And this is the actual second part of the battery cover. I'll give you a better light. Okay, so once the top covers are moved away, then you have more space to work on unscrewing the battery or removing the battery. But the first thing you need to do is unscrew the battery strap. And I want to mention that the tools you need to use is a 10mm socket or 6.10mm socket, because as you see, these are all the nuts which you're going to deal with here. One trick I can show you is if using a regular 10mm socket is in a deep socket situation like that, which require a deep socket situation here. You first put the socket in, and then you kind of snap your half snap actually your ratchet in there, and it will give you the space. The socket may not lock into your ratchet, but it works well. The same way here. Alright, once you take the bolts out, you can safely unstrap the battery by removing the strap bar. You know, there's a notch. Is there a notch or something? A snap or notch or something over here. So you need to lift up from this place, from the left hand side first, because otherwise you can't do that. See, it actually locked in there. So you lift it up and then slide it out. And this is what I'm talking about. There's a tab here to actually lock the strap in place. So once you move the battery strap off the way, then the next step is like the typical battery replacement procedure. You undo the ground or earth terminal first, and then eventually you undo this terminal and remove the battery. But before we do that, there's still some pretty tight clearance in there, because you know, the terminal is actually right under the car. But what we can do is we can actually slide the battery up slightly, which will give us more space to reach the negative terminal bolt, which is also using a 10mm socket. So you slide the battery upward. Again, be careful, because we haven't undo the battery, so the positive terminal is right over here. You know, try to not to drop any metals around this area to short things out. So be careful about that. So you slide the battery, you can lift it up, slide it slightly forward until you hit the limit of the tray. It will give you enough clearance to put your 10mm ratchet, you know, into there to undo the negative terminal. Actually, you just need to lose the screw is good enough, because this is like a pinch screw or something, or nuts actually. You don't need to remove the nuts, just lose it and the terminal should slide right out. Yeah. Like this. Actually, instead of moving it out, I think I can move it in. Yeah, I think it's safer to move it all the way in. I'll give you a better look. You have a ton of space in there, so you can actually put the terminal all the way in, as long as you're not touching the very back. Then, now you can safely remove the positive terminal. Again, you just need to loosen it, and then, oh, actually there's a limit of that. Oh, you cannot even take out the nut. Actually, you just lose it. There's a limit. It's actually locked into place. I can no longer. That's a good design. But anyway, once you lose it, and then just slightly twist it a little bit to remove the positive, and you are almost done. Okay, once we have the terminals out, we are ready to take out the battery. However, before we do that, there's one more step we need to do. That's because the battery actually don't have enough space to slide out directly from here. That's why the one more step we need to perform is to actually unsnap this panel. We need to unsnap it, but we don't need to remove the whole panel. We just create or get as much space as we can by utilizing the additional 1 inch or 1 inch space here. You know, once you unsnap both sides of the panel and slightly push the panel away from the battery and toward the air filter cover, and we will have enough space to slide the battery out. And now let me show you how to unsnap the panel and then move it away. And basically, it's very easy. You just make sure you be careful about the cables over here, and basically you just kind of lift it up, lift this panel slightly up. Just slightly is good enough. Slightly up, and then once you see the tab is out of the way, you move out this panel a little bit. Then this panel over here can move. You need to do both sides. You know, this side here and the side over here. On the other side of here, you do both. Snap, move out, and then push it against the air filter box. Then you will have, it's like this, then you will have enough clearance to move the battery out, which we still need to do some tricky manipulation or tricky maneuver, which I'm going to demo to you here. So once you have enough space, right, you slide the battery out. You use the hand and grab the terminal as your leverage, because you're going to utilize all the space here. And like this, you better do it both hands. Grab the battery, you can use the terminal as your leverage. Move it up like that. Move it up 90 degrees. And then just pull. And here it is. It's out. And let me show you. That's what I'm talking about. You unsnap this panel from both sides and push it against the air filter box, and you will create enough clearance or space to move the battery out of the space. And yeah, if you want to look, this is the battery tray inside our Focus. Let's spend a minute talking about the OEM battery. It's a conventional Motorcraft Ford battery, and the battery group number is 96R. So if you plan to replace the battery with a mass aftermarket one, you need to look for the group number 96R, or you need to find an equivalent battery which has the length under 9 inch, width under 7, and height under 7. Find, if you cannot find exactly 96R group battery, you need to find a battery which has the equivalent size of the OEM battery. Then you should be fine. Oh, one thing is make sure the terminal, the positive, is on the left hand side. Very important when you're facing the battery. Positive on the left hand side. Okay, we are going to reinstall the battery I'm going to put in. Okay, we are going to reinstall the battery, and in this case I'm going to replace with an aftermarket one. And since this video is about how to change a battery, I'm not going to talk about what aftermarket battery I'm going to use, but it's an aftermarket battery I'm going to replace with the OEM one. The reinstallation procedure is exactly the reverse of the uninstall. So basically you slide the battery back in, snap the front panel, and then reconnect the positive battery, the terminal first, tighten it down, and eventually we tighten the negative terminal. And let's start. Okay. Okay, first let's put in the battery. In this case, my aftermarket battery actually is slightly smaller. Well, they're in a similar size, but little bit smaller than the OEM. So actually, I have easier time to put it back in. Okay, once it's in, I'm going to realign the front panel and strap it back. Make sure it's sturdy. Now I'm going to reconnect the positive first. Okay, here is the information which I find out. The bolt or the nut for both terminals, or for all the nuts here, is no more than 5 foot-pound of torque, or 60 inch-pound of torque. So if you have a torque wrench, and which I suggest you use the inch-pound torque wrench, like this one, adjust it no more than 60 inch-pound of a torque, and this is the torque number for all the bolts here. So again, no more than 60 inch-pound of torque to do all the nuts here. Otherwise you may strap it, or you may damage the nut. Again, 60 inch-pound or 5 foot-pound. Oh, 60, good. Now I'm going to reconnect my negative. Okay, once you put the negative terminal back on, remember it's a 60 inch-pound of torque or 5 foot-pound of torque. Once you tighten both nuts, then we are ready to strap the bearing back. Again, the strap is very simple. Remember, the tab is facing the driver's side, so make sure you align. There's a tab hole. Put the tab into the hole and put it back on. And make sure the bearing is aligned. Okay, inside the tray, as long as it's under the strap, the bearing strap, and we are okay. Again, the torque spec for this bearing strap screw or nut is also 60 inch-pound. Or if you don't have a torque wrench, just slug it up, but don't go crazy. As long as it's tight, it's good enough. So I'm going to tighten it up. Okay, once we put the bearing strap back on, and make sure it won't move and everything tight up, then the last thing we need to do is to reinstall the top second cover, which is near the firewall. And basically you just snap it back on. But one thing I want to mention is there's two small tabs here, and this is helpful. This tab actually needs to be behind the tray. You see there's particular L shape here. The tab needs to be sit behind the edge over there. Then it will help you align the cover. And one more thing I want to say is make sure all your negative cables routing out from the bearing to the outside is going through the slot over here, because this is the only place it allows you to run the cable out. If the cables are not inside this slot, you may have trouble in reinstalling the either cover, the front or the back. So let's do it. So basically you just maneuver the top cover back into its place and align the tabs behind the edge of the tray. I recommend you align it from the driver's side first, or the right hand side, and then see this, and then put it on the other side by pressing on the bearing tray a little bit in, and then you try to snap it in snap it back in like this. Make sure you hear at least one or two clicks. I think 2 clicks. That's it, because we have 2 taps. So that's how we do it. Make sure you check your work. Make sure the cover is tight. And I leave it a little bit to see if it stays in place. Once it does, then the very last step is to reinstall the front cover. And this is the easiest part. So align the tabs back to the top here like this, and then just snap on both sides or at the arrows, point the arrow area, and you are pretty much done. That's it. Now you know how to replace the bearing. It's not quite straightforward like the conventional car, but it's still doable. So I hope this video will help you when it's time for you to change your bearing. And again, this video is about showing you how to remove and replace the bearing. I'm not going into the details of what kind of aftermarket bearing you should be using or what. You can use the OEM Motorcraft, replace the same bearing, which is the group 96R, or you find the aftermarket one which fit the similar size, but make sure the alignment is correct and the size is within spec, because actually the bearing compartment is very high tolerance, you know, with very little margin of clearance you can play with, because if the bearing is slightly too big, you may have trouble putting the covers back on, unless you don't care without the cover. Otherwise, you better find an aftermarket bearing which is the same size, and make sure all the terminals are oriented correctly, and make sure both covers can be snapped back on without any problem. And that's about it. And I hope you find it helpful, and I'll see you next time.